men, ladies. Next episode of Race Signals. This is what we missed about how I ran out or lost a bunch of material, which kind of sucks, but I'll take you through what I've got done here. So I've got the oil cooler temporarily mounted, oil relocation temporarily mounted, which is actually out of a 2008 335i. Tilted a little forward, it literally works perfect for the inlet and outlet side. You saw the dry sump video, that's good. Alternator, I got to fit in here perfectly. This bracket actually mounted down here before moved this plate up to get the dry sump away from the power steering components. So this no longer could mount down there, and I was racking my brain about what to do with the alternator, and I was like, oh man, those actually look about the same distance. So yeah, I just drilled that out with my cousin on the milling machine, and yeah, the location came out perfect. I think we had to move the mounting location over like 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters, something like that, and the belt looks like perfectly lined up. Got the valve cover painted, not really that important, but it looks way better now that it's one single color. Track Tough ignition coil plate, got new ignition coils underneath there. Got a Honda 4-bar map sensor. This is actually a B series throttle body. Apparently they're a lot more stout than the K series, so I got that with the it's actually a big I think the diameter actually on here is wider than the typical throttle body they sell, so you have a little bit more pedal throw, a little bit better feel. That's what I like anyway. Threw on the throttle position sensor. We don't have fuel injectors yet. Those are probably going to be like 2200 cc. I think I'm going to go with like 2200 cc injectors, which are going to be way more than the pump can handle, but when I move on to a more powerful motor, when I'm looking for more power, I just want to have them already there. So all I'll have to do is change the fuel pump. My buddy Bill got the chase bays. He's just got that mounted just temporarily because everything's going to come out of here. But we just wanted to make sure that we had everything for that. And I had to cut and relocate the wastegate on this turbo. And I actually clocked the turbo a little bit because of where the wastegate mounts. I was trying to think of other alternatives to actually move the wastegate and see what I can do, but ultimately really just cutting this flange and taking about ½ inch out of it and moving it closer was the only way I could make this work. The downpipe actually fits pretty good. I will have to do something for this brake line for heat management. But again, once I strip all this apart and get the bay cleaned up, then I'll do that. So that's really about it for the engine stuff. I'm currently now working on mounting the IRP shifter. This thing is really fancy, fancier than anything I've ever had in a car. The shifts feel very, very crisp, and it's succinct. It's just a really nice setup. So I'm made this plate here, which I'm gonna continue to weld in and clean up, just kind of make it look like it's actually part of the transmission tunnel here. And I put rivnuts in here already to hold it down. I think that's going to be plenty fine. I got some big rivnuts also for the ASD handbrake that we're gonna run. But as you can see, I also took out the seat. My buddy Bill helped me get rid of a bunch of stuff that was hanging off here. that just is going to be unnecessary. So we're kind of really getting this empty so I can paint it and make it all nice and clean, and it'll be like a nice proper looking car on the interior. Pretty much besides the shifter and the e-brake, I've got to actually fine tune where the steering wheel is going to go. I think I'm going to make a fiberglass dashboard, or Amanda's going to help me do that. I got to do some pedal stuff, and then it can really all come out, and then I can paint it. I'm going to do white interior and then gray roll bars. And I think it's going to look good because the outside of the car is going to be white. So I'm going to start doing some work on the shifter location, and also going to start doing some work on the e-brake, and then yeah, we'll just go from there. Alright, so I try not to assume anything. So this is a riv nut. This is what I'm using in order to hold this and also the e-brake onto this piece of metal here. So what happens is you screw this riv nut here on the end of this machine tool, and when you squeeze these, it actually holds the threads in here, and it pushes and actually makes the outside of this riv nut wider and holds it in a hole that you create. This is pretty cool. I mean, I've known about these, but I utilized them more recently because it's got a nice flush finish for you to mount stuff, and I like the idea. Yeah, they can't hold stuff as well, you know, mounting as well as like a through bolt, but I think for these two items and some other stuff that I've used it for, actually even on this plate too, I've used it, I think it'll work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a whirl and see what happens. So this is a ASD handbrake, very nice machined piece. I have one in my Mustang, and I really, really like it. It is lightweight. It's got a Willwood slave on it. I mean, it's just a really nice piece, adjustable here. The only thing I don't like is that the mounting location is underneath this, so you have to undo this, and also the slave. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I'll pull this off, get that mounted, make sure I didn't screw it up, and go from there. Alright, I got the slave out of here, so we'll see if I screwed this up or not. Alright, I screwed up, so the e-brake is literally, I don't know, a 1/16 over the shifter bracket. So I'm just gonna grind this shifter bracket just a skosh, just enough so this goes by. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room over here. Let me just it's fine. We'll just put this on. I've got the IRP shifter installed. The handbrake is installed in a nice location. So these are a skosh further away than I want them to be, but I am going to move the seat probably about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch farther forward. So even if I left it here, these are pretty good locations, and the e-brake is also adjustable, so I can actually adjust this really to anywhere I want. It goes into reverse just fine without smashing my hand off of the e-brake, which is exactly what I was looking for. The shifter does have some adjustments on the left and right. It's kind of like a centering gate. So I don't know. Also don't have the clip on the bottom of the shifter, so I don't know if I'm actually getting it first. I feel like that's first. But again, I have a little bit of space down here. That does feel like third, but there is no fifth really right now, so I'm not quite sure. I'll have to look up on how to adjust this, but I think that this is actually a pretty good location. Again, I'm a little further away from the pedals than I want to be. Sitting straight up and down, e-brake is almost perfect, a little too far away, and then the shifter again is just a little too far away, but I'm going to adjust the seat forward. So I'm hoping, I mean, this looks pretty stout with the rivnuts. Obviously, once I put pressure on the end, we'll see if it stays or not, and if I have to through bolt it, but I think this is going to work for now. These both seem very, very strong. So I'm going to weld this entire plate, make it look like it's factory, and we'll get the boot on for the shifter. And I think that's it for in here right now. Next thing I'm going to do, now that this is all done and cleaned up as nice as I really think it needs to be without going insane, next thing we're going to do is clean up all these little pieces right here, kind of get rid of this stuff so when we're flailing around inside the car we're not getting caught on it. And when I say flailing, I mean when something's broken. Also, it's just going to clean up the interior a little bit, make it a little neater, which I'm not really, getting everything kind of fancy guy, but I do want it to just look good, clean, and just be a nice looking car when it's done. As good as within my ability. I'm more of a driver than anything. I'm not necessarily like a show car guy or anything like that, but so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Cut little tabs like that off. I mean, we're also saving weight as well. So it's not just a single, to make it look nice purpose. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to clean all this up. Then I'll get it all vacuumed out, and then we'll take a look at it when it's all done and see what it brings. It actually doesn't look too bad in here. Once I paint it, I think it's gonna bring it right around. But it looks a lot cleaner in here. So as you can see, I put the dashboard in. I really don't like it. It's just all cut up. It just doesn't look good. So I think I'm gonna make one out of fiberglass. I'll probably do an entire episode on that, but for now I'm just gonna kind of make some panels for in here, up here. And that's also another reason why I don't like it, is because it's not like mounted in there very well. I'm gonna make a little panel for inside where the regular dashboard or the gauge cluster was, because I'm gonna be running a digital dash, so I'm gonna put it in there like just a panel, and then I'm actually gonna have the guys at Tuner Tools in Massachusetts, maybe they're in New Hampshire, but they're going to wire this, put in the digital dash, the PDM stuff, and do all the wiring for me. It's not that I can't do it, but I know they'll do it in a much more timely manner, and it'll be much more professional than what I can do. So I'm willing to pay for that. And it's going to be kind of crunch time when it comes to new wiring. So yeah, I'm going to start dicking around with that, make some panels, make sure I can actually reach this too. I want to make sure I can reach this from the driver's seat, because if I can't reach it in case of an emergency when I need to shut it down, that would suck. I also want to make sure I can reach the digital dash from the seat as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start making up some panels for those. I think I might make like a little panel deal for around here. This actually doesn't look too bad, but let me bring it to the other side here. It just I'm not necessarily super nitpicky about the way stuff looks, but it kind of does look hack. Like it's kind of just gross up in here, over there. This is just meh. And then all these cuts and stuff are just not ideal. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. I'm gonna make some CAD templates, fill in these little holes here with stuff, and I really think I'm gonna try and do fiberglass, unless I can get it to look real good using this one. But I don't think that's gonna be the case.